of a planet, the development of a complex civilization takes time. In order to accelerate this, the celestial beings in the heavens have helped us along the way. They have guided us as far back as the beginning of our species. As far back as that time, 50,000 years ago, you hear stories about beings other than our own. 50,000 years ago saw the dawn of the more advanced humans, the humans who were capable of understanding and having communions with celestial beings and a complex communion with God. Later on, these myths, which they evolved into, became more complex. The communications between the celestial beings and the humans evolved as the development of the humans evolved. The more complex the humans became, the more complex messages the celestial beings and God could communicate to us. Through time, for about 6,000 years ago, we saw the development of written religions. These massive scale communications between humans and celestial beings and God began to be written down in text. These are the real X-Files. These are the ancient communications between God and man and celestial beings. These messages they come with are guidances. They are tips and tricks of how to avoid a lot of the problems that we can face in our primitive minds. Of course, listening to these tips is a big, good idea. A lot of us do not listen enough to these tricks of how to improve ourselves, how to avoid and evolve from our animal origin to become divine. Through time, these messages have continued to be more and more complex. You find these guides in all religions in the form of angels. It is very interesting that these celestial beings are mostly described as being non-organic beings. That is something that is very far beyond our own concept of what life is. We are very accustomed to organic life, although we do find in the ancient scriptures a lot of tales about giants walking among humans and also other celestial beings that come from the heavens down to earth. This reached its latest climax in the bestowal of Jesus on our planet. Jesus did a lot of things that were not human. He also did a lot of things that were not extraterrestrial, but that was divine. So I'm gonna give a couple of examples from the Bible, which is one of the many religious texts that hold the keys to the universe, that holds wisdom from the stars and heavens. It is important, however, to know that human beings wrote these encounters down, and thus what is written in religious texts are a mix of what these celestial beings literally told us and what we have interpreted, and also what our culture was in that time. So things became humanized, because when a human being writes something down, it's going to be influenced by his own life experiences and culture. So the Bible and the Quran and all the other holy books are not meant to be taken literally in and of themselves. Although, when you look at the similarities between all these religions, when you study the messages from the heavens, you can see lines across all the religions that converge and reveal a religion that we haven't found yet. a wisdom of God and the heavens that we still need to find. And that is the goal of our new age of development. I'm now going to give a couple of examples from religious texts that describe witness accounts of some of the few celestial and divine beings meeting humans, and also God communicating with humans. This is from Mark 9 of the Bible. Jesus went on to say, "I tell you the truth, some standing here right now will not die before they see the kingdom of God arrive in great power." That transfiguration. 6 days later, Jesus took Peter, James, and John and led them up a high mountain to be alone. As the men watched, Jesus' appearance was transformed, and his clothes became dazzling white, far whiter than any earthly bleach could ever make them. Then Elijah and Moses appeared and began talking with Jesus. Peter exclaimed, "Rabbi, it's wonderful for us to be here. Let's make 3 shelters as memorials, one for you, one for Moses, and one for Elijah." He said this because he didn't really know what else to say, for they were all terrified. Then a cloud overshadowed them, and a voice from the cloud said, "This is my dearly loved son. Listen to him." Suddenly, when they looked around, Moses and Elijah were gone, and they saw only Jesus with them. As they went back down the mountain, he told them not to tell anyone what they had seen until the Son of Man had risen from the dead. So they kept it to themselves, but they often asked each other what he meant by rising from the dead. Then they asked him, "Why do the teachers of religious law insist that Elijah must return before the Messiah comes?" Jesus responded, "Elijah is indeed coming first to get everything ready. Yet why do the scriptures say that the Son of Man must suffer greatly and be treated with utter contempt? But I tell you, Elijah has already come, and they choose to abuse him, just as the scriptures predicted."